Well, hey YouTube buddies. So I've been promising you guys a post-mortem on the engine for about a month or two now. So I wanted to get this done, get this out to you, and let you know what we spent, how we got to our conclusion on what we wanted, and that sort of thing. A little background. We got this boat back in early 2015. By about mid-2015, it became apparent to us that the engine was having troubles. It was old. It was the old diesel, old Volvo diesel. It was a Volvo Penta diesel. It was overpowered for the boat. It was about 130 horsepower. The boat needs about 50 to 60. So it was way overpowered. It was an old, half saltwater cooled, half freshwater cooled diesel. And it hadn't had any maintenance on it in a good 20 years, literally. Maybe an oil change or two, but nothing else. It was having trouble starting here and there, and a lot of other issues. And long story short, a mechanic came out. He pulled the intercooler off, and salt water flooded out of the engine. Well, it was obvious at that point what we were going to need to do. So we started a quest to find a new diesel. We had a few friends at the marina that wanted to help us out with a used. We wanted to put a new one in there. This is going to last us the rest of our life because it goes along with our plans to sail the South Pacific. Anyway, we initially were looking at Yanmars. We had a Yanmar in our Columbia. Beautiful engine. Loved it. Little Yanmar 3YM30. Ran like a clock. In looking into the new Yanmars, we found out that they're all computer controlled. Everything on them's computer. They have a super high pressure common fuel rail, and everything's computer controlled. And in doing some research, we found a couple of horror stories where one gentleman's computer had gone out on him and he went in for a replacement, and they said, well, you can't really get a replacement. You have to send the computer back to us and we fix it or replace it and reprogram it for your engine and then send it back to you. And then you have to have a field service tech come to your location and do the final fine-tuning on the computer. Well, visions of lightning hitting the mast and frying the computer in the middle of the ocean came to mind. And being out at Bora Bora or the Marquesas, and you're looking for somebody, you're going to be looking at flying a Yanmar technician out there with the computers, which you're going to be looking at. So out with the Yanmars. We started looking around some more, and it kind of came to the conclusion that Beta Marine, it was still all mechanical. The engines ran beautifully. Their support system is great. They have some pretty good prices on the engines, albeit a little more costly than the Yanmar. We thought it was worth it, and it has ended up being worth it. What we ended up going with was the Beta Marine, the Beta 60, which is plenty of power for us, and it runs like a top. In the process, we went to West Coast, or was it Coast Marine? I believe it was. Let me look at my email here. Yeah, it's Coast Marine, and they were Yanmar dealers, and this was back when we were still looking at Yanmars. They quoted us a total price for the refit of right at $40,000. That was pretty pricey. The engine was going to come in somewhere around 14 for the small engine and 17.8 for the larger engine, the smaller one being the 52, 53 horse, the larger one being the 65 or 70 horse, I forget what. So the price of the engine was on par with what we'd expect, but they wanted to charge me $16,800 for modifying the stringers. And what they said, I'm reading from the email, was going to be install the engine at least 3 times for fits, to put it in, see if it fits, modify this. Additionally, for the stringer modification, they were going to source it out, and that was going to be an additional $1,500. Miscellaneous parts, $1,000, so $23,300 for just the parts and labor, not including the engine. That's about the time when we were researching the Yanmars and the computer situation, so we were kind of backing away from that. We started looking around. We got a quote from another guy, Chris Rinaldi, which I've mentioned in my videos, California Yacht Service, and he quoted us for the complete labor for the job, which included stripping all of this horrid old soundproofing that was falling apart and black powder everywhere. He was going to strip all that out, completely clean the engine room, and completely repaint it, including building a stand for our hot water heater and mounting it for us for $4,000. Well, actually $5,000 with him doing the painting and the cleaning. So $5,000 for the complete job, including painting and cleaning, versus $23,300. It was kind of a no-brainer. The entire cost for Rinaldi was just over $24,000, vice the $40,000, just a hair over $40,000 from the other place. We went with Chris Rinaldi and did a bang-up job. You guys have seen it in the videos. We took the boat out this past weekend again and motored around with the wife's son and his girlfriend, and it just, again, it runs flawlessly. We've got an 18-inch prop. We need a 19-inch prop on it to match with the engine, but she can cruise at around 6.5 knots, about 6.5 knots at full throttle, and about 5.2 at 2/3, which is about what they recommend running it at. So we're extremely pleased with it, and we're extremely pleased with the installation. It's nice because now with this repower, you guys may remember from previous videos, and I'll probably be linking these things. If you remember in previous videos, we had the diver go down to replace the cutlass bearing. He lost the prop shaft. So in this whole debacle for the last year and a half, we've got a brand new engine, brand new transmission, brand new prop shaft, brand new cutlass bearing, brand new mid bearing between the engine and the cutlass. And the only thing that's not new on the whole drivetrain is the prop. And the prop's beautiful. It's in perfect shape. When it was before it was put on at the boatyard, when they were putting the new cutlass bearing in, they polished it up and did a great job. And the prop was beautiful. So the whole drivetrain basically is brand new. And that's where we stand on it. If any of you guys have any questions about the beta, the horsepowers, the cost, the guy that we had ultimately do the work, go ahead and give us a message down below. I'll be glad to answer it. But that is kind of the long and short of the repower cost. It was, like I said, it was about $16,800 for the engine, about $5,000 for redoing the engine room completely and building the stand for the hot water heater. He rebuilt the hydraulic pump on the power steering at the helm. That was an extra $500, and we said absolutely go ahead and do that. It was leaking a little bit of hydraulic fluid, so we went ahead and got that done. And the boat's just solid now as far as the drivetrain goes. Anyhow, questions, comments, leave them below. I'll jump on and answer it. You guys take care.